Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Ice Project. Today we're going to be talking about a few things we've been seeing on the internet through footy. A few good, a few bad, but let's roll into it. Roll the intro. Lukey, that was a little quick.
A bit early. I had my coffee.
All right, Lukey, what have we been seeing?
I know, a bit of a sad one. Friend of YKTR, Malachi, came in last year, did the podcast with Scope with his brother. He's retiring.
Yeah, Malachi, obviously a great guy, great family. Shout out to him. He's retiring and doing the right thing. He had a bit of kidney failure at training at the end of last year, and he said he's seen his kids crying, which was super sad. But yeah, really great guy. Had a great story of how he come back. He sort of gave up the game when he was about 20, worked in the prison as a screw, and then sort of come back and worked his way back into first grade. And his dream was to always play with Dallin, and they done that. But yeah, like I said, really great family. And he's one of the guys who are part of the new wave of athletes that are using their leverage to transition after. So he's got a great watch company. If you want to get around and support him, he's going to be doing that. But shout out to Malachi, shout out to his family. Retirement's cool. Once you know what you're doing, I've sort of messaged him last night. I said, hit me up if you need anything, but I'm pumped for you. I feel like you're going to be all right. Congratulations on the career.
They've done really well with that watch business. They've been on the news. They've had their story told.
It's nice. It's clean. I wish him nothing but health, happiness, and success moving forward.
Last night, image of Gus Gould rocking the Warriors kit, had the hat on, standing on the sidelines out there in Tamworth, wherever they are.
Yeah, it was cool. Warriors always got vibey kit, eh? I always like their stuff. That gradient look, that's the stuff that's coming into fashion. So whoever's looking after their stuff knows what they're doing. Did you like Gus in it? He looked all right, eh? I didn't mind him in it. He looked cool.
Suits him.
A little bit of a different vibe, but Gus is a really good administrator, and obviously I had him at Penrith, and even though he got rid of me, I sort of understood the reasons why. And the thing I like about Gus as an administrator, he's not afraid to make hard decisions. When he moved into Penrith used to just be a spot where managers would throw players that were kind of going towards the end of their career or couldn't get a spot anywhere else, kind of how I end up there as well. Obviously had a relationship with Ivan, but Gus Gould's strength is, one, he's not scared to make decisions. Two, he loves football. He understands it. He's been in and around it for long enough. And three, his communication style is fucking elite. There was a couple times when I was at Penrith, we'd lose 3 games in a row. He'd come into the locker room. Boys, sit down. Bro, just go on one of his fucking speeches and one of his tangents. He'd make it up out of thin air. Like one time, top, and everyone was sort of scattered out across chairs. This is our problem. Like we're not a team. Even when we go out to lunch, even when we're doing meetings, we should be like joined at the hip. And we always used to win after the back of his speeches as well. But also the other side of it, he comes in, he makes you feel like you can trust him. He always say, there's nothing in football I've never seen. So if anything sort of happens, come to me. I've seen it all. And which he has. I
think that was one of the interesting points that Ricky Stewart brought up on the pod. He was saying that at that back end of that Roosters run, Gus came in and he goes, you need to start getting rid of the senior boys. And
I saw that, yeah.
And Ricky Stewart wouldn't have a bar of it. But in hindsight, he thinks that probably would have been the right thing to do for the Roosters.
Yeah, so if you look at the Panthers now, they've made the GF. That's the long tail of what Gus was able to do. I know everyone sort of said that 5-year plan, and that was sort of something maybe he tossed up or maybe he didn't. I'm not too sure, but the cause and effect, like him going into the Penrith, is the reason why they are the way they are right now. They got the best nursery, they got the best juniors, even players that are good, they end up going to other clubs and getting picked up. So I hope he does that for the Warriors. We need the Warriors to be good. We need a New Zealand team to be good because, one, they're competing with the fucking All Blacks, who are the GOAT. Love the All Blacks, shout out to the boys. But you're also competing against the whole of rugby union. So when the Warriors are good, it's a vibe over there. And all the years I was there, we were lucky enough that we were playing in the finals, and everyone gets behind them. It's a one country team, and they've got a really good lineup. Like I'm looking at I've got their lineup here.
Jackson just put on his story.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, David Fusatua, Peter Hiku, Ewan Aiken, Kim Mamalo. Like that back five, they were all tough tackles. I think Peter Hiku was almost one of the form centers of the comp last year. Roger's going to be Roger. Fusatua and Mamalo, they weren't even playing at the back end of last year. They ended up going home, which they were more entitled to do so. But the Warriors almost made the 8 without these guys. Harris Tavita, he's coming along. He's probably at that point where he's about 30, 40 games. He needs to take it to the next level and take charge of their team. Cody Nikarima, one of the most talented naturally footballers you can have out there. Adam Fanua-Blake, probably one of the biggest signings across all of it. Lisan Armel, he was away last year. Ben Murdoch-Morsilla, he's been killing it in the Super League. Tohu Harris, he'll steady the ship. Jazz Tavanga. He's that little tough little mongrel that you want in the pack. Bailey Sirenen, he'll probably be the pickup of the year, I reckon. Underrated. They just got a good team. Kane Evans is there as well. It's a really good team. So Gus is moving into a situation where he'll see New Zealand the same way that he sees Penrith. A bunch of super talented Islanders. But instead of having a Western Sydney to look after, he'll be looking around the whole of New Zealand. He's a development coach. He's smart. And one of the things he does say is when you go in, he go, administrators administrate, coaches coach, players play. Once you get players starting about doing what the coaches are doing, coaches worrying about what administrators are doing, shit starts to crumble real quick. So he'll be the boss there. He'll give direction. He won't do the coaching. He'll let the coaches be the coach and let the players be the players. So, man, I hope the Warriors go good.
Speaking of blokes at training with the 8th out there in the parakeet.
Yeah, obviously Bocco take that photo. Yeah. Seeing Joey in the 8th, pretty excited
He does. Mitchy Moses must be doing something good in training.
There's no one probably in the world that loves football as much as probably Joey Johns, and it kind of looked like he was packing something in his shorts as well. So do a little zoom up on that. Super fortunate to have Joey as one of your halves coach. Parramatta, you need Parramatta to be good as well. They've got one of the best fan bases, one of the most loyal fan bases. He's got really 2 talented halves there. Mitch Moses, he's kicking on. He'd be about 26, 27 now, going into the prime of his career. Dylan Brown, or one of the most talented number 6s, bit of a free spirit, happy to do his thing. Really good halves combination there. They're both runners, both good kickers, left foot, right foot. Playing number 7 for Para is probably one of the hardest jobs. One of the most under pressure jobs in football is playing the halfback for Parramatta. Obviously, since the 80s, they expect success like that as well. And there's such a fucking loyal fan base, they'll get into you if you're not performing as well. So I think you need a guy like Joey to take Mitch Moses from here to that next spot. Because last year, they were talking about him and Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary kind of kicked on, but Mitch has got that potential to do it easy.
100%. If anything's going to motivate him, it's all the chat around that. Like coming to Origin the back end of the year, it probably wasn't even a name that was brought up, whereas at the start of the year, everyone's talking about Mitch Moses or who's going to get the Origin 7 jersey. I think if anyone is going to put on a clinic this year, going to be Mitchy Moses. Let's go, Para.
Shout out Dylan Brown, you're my boy.
Last one, not a footy one, but we've got Conor McGregor fighting this weekend. You seem to tune in for the big fights. Are you excited?
Yeah, very bandwagon type of UFC. Yeah, I'm excited for that fight. Obviously, Conor, he draws attention. He gets my attention. I'm not that big into fighting. Love everything about him. Love the character that he plays. Love his entrepreneurship. Obviously, a great fighter as well. And you just have to watch him. But who is this a rematch?
No, oh yeah. So he fought Dustin Poirier 6 years ago on the come up, and it was the first time he
beat him.
Yeah, knocked him out. I think it was like a minute 30 into the first round. So his prediction, this one is he's sort of got 2 predictions. He'd love to go in there and put a clinic on and do him in less than 60 seconds. But then he understands he had 40 seconds in the octagon last year with everything that went down. He couldn't really get a fight, so he'd love a bit of octagon time, but he doesn't think that Dustin's got it in him to... He respects Dustin. It's been a different Conor. Well, it's not really a different Conor.
He was shaking his hand and stuff, yeah.
Way more mature. I got up last night, watched the press conference. Very respectful, talking about how Dustin's got his hot sauce and they'd love to exchange a proper 12 for a bit of hot sauce. He respects everything like that. They've both got kids. Dustin's got a daughter. Conor's obviously got 2. Conor Jr. was out there signing the poster. That was pretty funny yesterday.
Who wins?
I think Conor.
Easily or?
No. I think the clinic, not a clinic, but the fight with Dan Hooker could potentially have taken a bit out of Dustin. That was a war, and Hooker really took him into deep waters in terms of being durable and being in the octagon. But I still think Conor... I just think he's too silky, and I'm a Conor fanboy since way back, so I'd have to back Conor, and I don't think he'll do it in a minute. I can see it being very similar to the Eddie Alvarez fight, where they'll get out of the first round, Conor's downloaded all the information that he needs, and then he knocks him out in the second. So
shout out Conor McGregor, just chilling on the boat outside Fight Island. Fucking goat shit.
Surely a podcast.
That'll be the dream, eh?
It'll be a good one.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Smash that subscribe button for us. Later.